Hello and welcome. In today's video, we're diving into an intriguing and thought-provoking topic, the rise of the first beast in biblical prophecy. We'll explore its symbolism, its global impact, and what it means for us today. So, whether you're familiar with the prophecy or hearing about it for the first time, stay tuned as we unpack this mysterious and powerful vision from the book of Revelation. Let's get started. Revelation 13:1-10 describes the rise of the first beast, a powerful, global entity that opposes God's kingdom. It emerges from the sea, symbolizing chaos and the instability of political powers. The beast has 10 horns, 7 heads, and 10 crowns, indicating dominion over multiple nations and a complex, global authority. The blasphemous names on its heads reflect its defiant nature against God. Its appearance like a leopard, with bear-like feet and a lion's mouth, combines traits of past empires, Greek, Persian, and Babylonian, signifying its great power and influence. The beast is empowered by the dragon Satan, who grants it authority, enabling it to persecute the saints and control nations. It demands worldwide worship, symbolizing the ultimate challenge to God's sovereignty. The beast's role is central in the apocalyptic narrative, serving as an agent of Satan to deceive and dominate humanity. In biblical literature, the sea is often a symbol of chaos, unrest, and turmoil. Isaiah 17:12, Daniel 7:2-3. The sea represents the nations of the world, especially those in conflict or upheaval. In the context of Revelation 13:1-10, the beast rising from the sea suggests its emergence from a state of global instability or widespread social, political, or economic disorder. This vivid imagery portrays the beast as a force that arises during a time of turmoil and strife, capitalizing on instability to seize power and influence. The beast's rise from the sea is commonly interpreted as the emergence of a powerful political, social, or economic entity that gains control over the nations of the world. Historically, this has been linked to empires such as the Roman Empire, which rose to power amid widespread instability. However, in modern interpretations, the beast is often seen as a global system or institution. This could refer to a future world government, multinational corporations, or a global economic system that exerts immense control over the political, financial, and social lives of individuals. The sea's symbolism as a place of chaos underscores the nature of the beast's rise. It thrives on confusion, fear, and the breakdown of established order. It capitalizes on human vulnerability during times of global crises, promising solutions or order at the expense of freedom and truth. The beast's emergence is therefore not just a political event, but a spiritual one, representing the unholy forces behind global systems that seek to dominate and control, often in opposition to God's sovereignty. In Revelation 13:1-10, the 7 heads, 10 horns, and blasphemous names of the beast serve as symbolic representations of its power, authority, and defiance against God. The 7 heads of the beast represent complexity and universality. In biblical prophetic literature, the number 7 is often associated with completeness, suggesting the beast's dominance over the earthly realms. The heads are sometimes interpreted as 7 kingdoms, rulers, or major centers of power throughout history. These interpretations often include empires such as Egypt, Assyria, Babylon, Persia, Greece, Rome, and a final kingdom in the end times, each contributing to the beast's overarching authority. The 10 horns symbolize power and authority, and the crowns indicate rulership over these 10 realms. This imagery suggests a coalition of 10 rulers or nations, forming the beast's power base. In Daniel 7:7-8, similar horns represent a collection of 10 kingdoms, reinforcing the idea of a unified, global force. The number 10 suggests a complete dominion, implying that the beast's authority spans across multiple nations, exerting its influence globally, especially in the last days. The blasphemous names on the heads of the beast indicate its defiance against God. This symbolizes the beast's attempt to exalt itself as a divine authority, positioning itself in opposition to God's sovereignty. The blasphemy underscores the beast's role as a false system or anti-God figure that demands worship and allegiance, aiming to replace or rival God's rule. The beast's composite appearance with the traits of a leopard speed, bear strength, and lion ferocity reflects a combination of historical empires that were known for their oppressive power. These characteristics echo the beasts in Daniel 7, symbolizing the Greek, Persian, and Babylonian empires. The amalgamation of these traits implies that the final beast will embody the oppressive qualities of all previous empires, forming a single, ultimate entity that unites these powers under one ruler. In Revelation 13:2, the dragon identified as Satan in Revelation 12:9 gives the beast its authority, throne, and power. This transfer of power signifies that the beast is not just a political or economic force, but also a spiritual entity empowered by Satan himself. The dragon's involvement emphasizes the spiritual opposition to God, with the beast functioning as Satan's agent on earth. Its authority and influence are not just worldly, but are empowered by demonic forces, making it an instrument of evil and deception. This connection to Satan highlights the counterfeit nature of the beast's power. Just as Christ is divinely appointed by God the Father, the beast is illegitimately empowered by Satan, seeking to deceive and manipulate the world into worshiping it. The beast represents the Antichrist in a broader sense, fulfilling the role of a false Messiah who leads people astray. While Revelation doesn't explicitly call the beast the Antichrist, its actions align closely with the descriptions of the Antichrist in 2 Thessalonians 2:3-4, where the man of lawlessness exalts himself above God, deceives the world, and demands worship. Like the Antichrist, the beast seeks to establish itself as the supreme authority, undermining the divine order. In Revelation 13:7, the beast is granted universal power over every tribe, people, language, and nation, symbolizing a global system that transcends cultural and national boundaries. This passage underscores the beast's role as a worldwide authority, capable of uniting nations under a single oppressive regime. The power of the beast is not limited to one region or people but spans across all corners of the earth, enforcing economic, political, and military control. This broad-reaching influence allows it to dominate societies, dictating terms of survival and participation, such as the mark of the beast for economic transactions. The scope of its power mirrors that of historical empires, but with a far more totalitarian and all-encompassing approach, creating a system where no one can buy or sell without allegiance to the beast. The worship of the beast is rooted in deception and awe. Revelation 13:4 describes the world marveling at the beast, asking, "Who is like the beast? Who can wage war against it?" This is an expression of its apparent invincibility and dominance, as it captures the attention and adoration of the masses. The beast's power is further bolstered by the miraculous healing of its fatal wound, Revelation 13:3, which creates the illusion of resurrection and reinforces its status as an invincible entity. This counterfeit of Christ's resurrection is a powerful sign that deceives the world, convincing people to worship the beast and its ruler. This false resurrection serves as a mockery of Christ's victory over death, as the beast positions itself as a false Messiah and the object of worldwide devotion. As a result, the worship of the beast becomes an expression of idolatry, with people placing their faith in a false god instead of the true Creator. In Revelation 13:7, the beast wages war against God's people, overcoming them temporarily. This represents a period of intense persecution for believers during the end times. The beast's rise to power and its dominance over the world results in the oppression of those who remain faithful to God. Believers who refuse to worship the beast or accept its mark will face economic hardship, social exclusion, and even physical persecution, symbolizing the struggle between God's kingdom and the worldly systems that oppose His authority. This persecution underscores the deep spiritual battle that believers will face as they stand firm in their faith against a system that demands total allegiance. The struggle of the saints against the beast serves as a reminder that resisting worldly systems which often appear powerful and invincible requires great courage and faith. This war is not just physical but spiritual, as believers are called to reject false ideologies, idolatry, and the systems of control that challenge God's sovereignty. The world may appear to triumph in the short term, but the temporary victory of the beast over the saints is not the end of the story. The prophecy concludes with a call for endurance and faith among the saints in Revelation 13:10, offering a crucial message of hope and encouragement. The verse states, "If anyone is to go into captivity they will go. If anyone is to be killed with the sword they will be killed." This verse emphasizes that suffering is an inevitable part of the journey, yet believers are called to persevere, trusting that God's ultimate victory is certain, despite the temporary trials. This call for endurance encourages believers to remain faithful, knowing that God will ultimately defeat the forces of evil and establish His eternal reign. Throughout history, many biblical scholars have interpreted the beast in Revelation as representing the Roman Empire. The Roman emperors' blasphemous claims of divinity, where emperors were often worshipped as gods, align with the beast's symbolic role as a false deity exalting itself above God. The Roman Empire also persecuted Christians, especially under emperors like Nero and Diocletian, who sought to eradicate the early church. This persecution is seen as a reflection of the beast's war against the saints, a central theme in Revelation 13:7. The Roman Empire's eventual decline and fall do not negate its identification as the beast, but rather, many scholars suggest that the characteristics of the beast continue to manifest in successive empires. Some interpretations extend the beast's symbolism to include a succession of empires that embody its oppressive qualities, such as the Byzantine, Ottoman, and even Nazi empires, each representing a form of global dominance and opposition to Christian values. The beast's characteristics, blasphemy, persecution of the faithful, and a corrupt, totalitarian rule can be seen recurring in various historical contexts, suggesting that the beast's spirit remains active through successive political regimes. From a futurist perspective, the beast is often viewed as a coming global government or leader that will rise in the end times. This future fulfillment sees the beast as a political figure, such as the Antichrist, who will consolidate global power and position himself as a divine figure, demanding worship and allegiance from the world. This view suggests that the beast will oppose God's authority, using deception, force, and economic power to control humanity. In addition to a political figure, the beast could represent a global economic system or a cultural ideology that spreads across nations, coercing individuals into conformity. This system would be designed to undermine Christian values, with the ultimate goal of replacing God with a false authority. Whether through technological advances, economic control, or political domination, the beast's influence would extend over the entire world, making it the final manifestation of the power of evil before God's ultimate victory. The prophecy of the beast in Revelation 13 calls believers to a critical decision between allegiance to God and submission to worldly powers that openly defy Him. The rise of the beast symbolizes a moment when the faithful will face intense pressure to conform to a worldly system that exalts itself above God, demanding worship and obedience. The mark of the beast represents this choice: either remain true to God and face persecution or compromise faith for worldly gain. Believers are urged to choose God's kingdom, recognizing that earthly powers, no matter how dominant, are temporary and finite compared to God's eternal reign. This choice requires spiritual discernment, as the allure of the beast's apparent power, wealth, and control can be deceiving. The challenge for believers is to remain steadfast in their faith and trust in God, even in the face of oppression and suffering. The beast's apparent resurrection from a fatal wound and its global influence serve as a warning against being swayed by false miracles or corrupt systems that seek to mimic God's true power. The beast's resurrection-like event mirrors Christ's true resurrection, but it is a counterfeit that misleads the world into worshiping a false authority. This deception underscores the importance of discernment in recognizing the difference between divine truth and satanic deception. The beast's false signs and supernatural power are meant to captivate and draw people into worship, distracting them from God's sovereignty and truth. Believers are warned not to be taken in by signs and wonders that promote evil, but to instead stay faithful to God's word. Despite the beast's temporary success in dominating the world and persecuting the faithful, Revelation assures readers that God's sovereignty will ultimately prevail. The beast's reign is short-lived, and its power is only permitted by God for a time. God's final triumph over evil is certain, and the beast's judgment will come. The destruction of the beast and its followers signals the establishment of God's eternal kingdom. Believers are reminded that, though they may suffer in the present age, God's ultimate victory over evil is assured, and His justice will prevail, bringing an end to the forces of darkness and inaugurating a new, everlasting order. The rise of the first beast symbolizes the emergence of a powerful system or leader that opposes God, captivates humanity, and demands worship. It serves as a prophetic warning, urging believers to remain vigilant, discerning, and steadfast in their faith as they navigate a world increasingly influenced by forces that challenge divine authority. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring.